Alright, so pre-release 4 for update 6 is finally here. Here's everything you need to know about it. They added a new color tool to creative mode. The new color tool can be found in the specialized tool sections within the creative inventory and has 3 modes to select from. Coloring mode allows you to replace blocks you are aiming at with another and can preserve shape variants while doing so. Gradient mode allows you to paint smooth color transitions across an area. And shading mode applies lighter and darker tones based on a chosen light source, surface angle, or a custom palette. The trigger volume tool got some massive changes. A single volume can now hold multiple independent rule sets on the same event. Group conditions an effect by having them share an entry number together. They added 2 new event types for it. One block used fires when a player interacts with a usable block such as a door, lever, or chest, and on entity died fires when an entity within the volume dies. They also added 2 new conditions. Block used allows you to filter by things such as block type or state. Entity count counts the number of living NPCs inside a volume. This, combined with the on entity died, can be used to quickly create encounters that requires all enemies to be defeated to progress. They also added 2 new effects. Spawn NPC allows you to spawn 1 or more NPCs. Play animation allows you to make the triggering entity or all entities within the volume perform an animation. They adjusted 3 conditions. Item condition now has additional options such as comparison operator, empty inventory toggle, and can now specify metadata keys or values. Block type condition now has additional options regarding block rotation. Tag condition now doesn't have tag options to invert the check performed. 8 effects also got adjusted. Send message now has a recipient option, allowing others to receive the triggered message. Send message and show event title text can now include the volume tag's value by writing the text key in braces, such as parentheses, my key parentheses. Play sound now has a location option and will default to the volume center rather than the triggering entity. Run root interaction now has an equip slot field for using the equipped interaction type. Place block and replace block type now have additional options regarding block rotation. Teleport now has a relative to volume option. Modify tags now has an append operation. They added 4 new commands. /trigger volume tag set can set the volume tag from the chat interface. /trigger volume tag remove can remove a volume tags from the chat interface. /trigger volume TP can teleport the player to a volume. This can now also be performed via the trigger volumes UI. And of course, /trigger volume rename can rename a trigger volume. This can now also be performed via the trigger volumes UI. Delayed and projectile trigger effects will now fire at the correct location even after the projectiles despawn. Exit effects will now also run when an entity despawns or is removed, in addition to leaving the volume. Resetting weather with a trigger volume will no longer briefly cause the sky to turn black. Saving trigger volume presets will no longer corrupt your asset.zip. The server discovery screen can now be navigated with a controller. The use legacy network stack option has been removed from the settings. And of course, they fixed a bunch of bugs, such as an issue where suppressing some specific NPCs from spawning could also incorrectly cause other unrelated NPCs to spawn. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.